the emergency exits to my left, where the exit sign is, and main entrance as you walked in. First on the agenda tonight, Alex Smith.
I don't see David or Jesse here yet.
Nobody here for Alex Smith? Okay. Maybe what we'll do is we'll just go on to the next one. 581 Route 17M. Who do we have representing 581 Route 17M?
Hello, good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Avi Weinberg, Weinberg Lim Engineering, here on behalf of the applicant. I'll start off with the big, I guess, the elephant in the room. The attorney, the zoning board attorney, actually reached out to me today, apologizing that he does not have the resolution ready. His plan is to have it ready by tomorrow night's zoning board meeting so they can adopt it, and they will get it over to us. I think that was like the big item that people wanted to hear about.
Great, good.
We did receive a comment letter from Mr. Higgins. One big item that was outstanding we've addressed is the lighting. I think that was the main item. The engineer is satisfied with what we've done. There was one revision we had with the cost estimate. I actually sent it to the engineer today. I think it's pretty much everything else. We are having some trouble with this subdivision and the survey. There seems to be like a catch-22, but again, the subdivision doesn't need to be filed in the clerk's office, at least. They don't need a signed plan from the chairman. So with that, we are here to seek approval. I mean, I know you can't adopt anything now, but the plan is we like for the next actual planning board meeting, we're hoping for an approval.
Dave, you want to go over we went over things on Friday. You want to?
Sure.
Just for the board?
Sure.
Catch everybody up to date. Thank you for the review.
Sure.
Sure. So a quick rundown in terms of SECRA. The negative declaration was issued January 27th. The Orange County Department of Planning referral was completed. There was no comments from them. It was a local determination to the village, and the public hearing was opened February of this year and closed in March. I guess we can jump through these comments. As Avi just mentioned, the variance that was issued from the Zoning Board of Appeals, we're just waiting for a written determination from them to make sure there was not any specific concerns or conditions with regards to that variance. I don't know if you want me to go through all of the comments or just hit anything that's new.
No, just anything that's new.
So, okay, as Avi mentioned, they revised the lighting plan. You may remember they previously had talked about having housing shields on the lights. They've basically switched those out for fixtures that are essentially have the intensity and the broadcast that will now conform with the village code.
And we appreciate that.
Thank you.
That's great. Thank you.
So the board they've gone through some review of the architectural review. I think the last time the architect was here, they had some materials that they presented.
Yeah, so the architect was working with the supplier. The supplier just shipped out the material, the samples today. So I think the plan is by next meeting, I know the board wanted to see the sample. So hopefully, in 2 weeks from now, the architect will be here with those samples to confirm.
Okay. And then again, we talk about the condominium and the subdivision of land. So since the last meeting, we had some correspondence. So Avi, I think, had reached out to the county.
Right.
And I followed up with Mary Ann Westbrook from the county, the filing office, and essentially she clarified it's not, in their view, a subdivision of land. So the county's not going to require to have a subdivision map signed by you. Right. For them to file it. There is still some paperwork that has to be filed with them. There's
which I believe is handled by the condo architect and a condo attorney. That has nothing to do with us.
And basically not. We can go move forward on it without their approval or them to react. The county.
Correct. So essentially, and typically with a subdivision of land, there would be a subdivision map that this board would review and file and sign, and then the applicant would file that as a subdivision of land in the county. However, and that's done with some condominium applications, but I believe because this one is wholly interior to the building, there's no land that goes outside of that. I believe there's no requirement for this board to sign that subdivision map. or that condominium map, I should say. I know the counties, I believe, still said they wanted to have a survey map, and they wanted the floor
which-
plan, they want approval from the Attorney General's office, right, or the Department of State.
Right, so that's dealt with also, like I
Right.
said, the condo attorney and architect have all those plans. I think they're all prepared already.
Right.
When they go through their filing with the state attorney general's office, they will give those to the county as well.
So at this point, I don't know what the board really is requiring to do as far as subdivision. I know that originally that was reviewed by Elizabeth Cassidy, and she said technically it met requirements for subdivision based on the village's definition. So, but again, there's no map to be filed as far as this board is concerned. We talked about the performance bond. They did have an error in the original cost estimate they submitted. There was some mix-up where they had several thousand feet of curb, I think, listed, and that clearly was not correct. So Avi had sent a revised one today. Based on the quick look I took at it, it looked like it was corrected. And that's those are the
And
comments.
everything else is
That's it.
information. Yeah.
So basically, if you can get those samples to us for the next meeting.
Yeah.
I don't know how the board feels to move forward or not on this. I think everything has been completed, in my opinion, and that's just my opinion.
I would,
The board,
It's just the samples,
yeah.
you
So,
know.
basically, hopefully this week you'll have in hand the resolution from the zoning board.
Yeah, and as soon as I get it, I will forward it to Terry.
Yeah.
So the idea would be the meeting at the end of the month, the architect will be here with the
Yeah,
samples.
And the meeting is gonna be on the 25th, because the 23rd, they have the elections here, primaries.
Oh.
So we can't use that, so it's the 25th. Just
Yes.
keep that in mind.
I will definitely make note of that. I appreciate it.
Make sure that everybody understands that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You folks, been involved with it day one. I came in, tail end of it. So I'm satisfied with what the applicant did. So if everybody's good, yeah, then we should be all set for the regular meeting.
Perfect. Appreciate that. So I'll make sure we get those samples in.
Good.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Avi.
Have a great night.
You too.
Have a good night. And don't forget the 25th.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Oh, okay. You're here for Alex Smith?
Yes.
Okay, because you weren't here, so we went to the next one, but
Sorry about that.
well, that's okay. Alex Smith,
Good evening, everyone.
who do we have representing?
Jesse Shee with David Niemock Architects.
Okay. Dave, you want to go over your review?
Sure. Just with regards to the status of things, they had provided short EAF. It was determined that this was a type 2 action, so no further action is required as far as SECRA. County Department of Planning was referred to them, determined to be a local determination from the county. They had a public hearing. It was held in November of 2025. And just running through the conditions that we had here. So we had listed in our comments the requirements of the village for accessory apartments. We just had, we had asked that they note those on the plans. They have done that, so whatever the conditions are. And again, therefore, filing of a deed restriction, so that essentially if the property is sold, that the future owner knows that they would have to come before this board to renew the special permit for the accessory apartment. And also that they have to register the property with the Village of Monroe as a rental property. So again, that's been noted on the plan. Based on the discussion held at the November 10th planning board meeting, one of the existing accessory structures did not have a building permit issued. They have noted on the plan which structure that was and indicated that they would need to get that resolved with the building department. And again, we would recommend that any condition of approval note that the applicant's required to obtain a building permit for this structure, in addition to the building permit for the accessory apartment. Again, the County Department of Planning was reviewed under 239. There was no comments from the county. The public hearing was held, as I mentioned before. And then based upon our review, the plans appear to be ready for approval by the planning board. We would recommend the board consider granting site plan and special permit for the proposed accessory apartment subject to the conditions outlined above.
Okay. So everything really is basically in order. Does the board have any comments or questions, or anything you want to add? Everybody's good? So then, there's really nothing there, nothing outstanding, so I guess we can move forward on this. The meeting will be on June 25th. Because 23rd, there'll be a primary here.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't use the room as a facility here. So we moved the meeting to Thursday, June 25th, okay?
Gotcha. Okay, and that's when you'll vote on the resolution?
Right.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Next on the agenda, we have 573 Route 17M. And we just wanted to get an update. And Mike,
Yes, Mr. Chairman, board members, how are you tonight? So you want me to give you an update as to the status. So we actually just completed or just obtained a notice of complete application from the DEC. We published the notice in the paper of said completed application, and we provided that documentation to Terry as well. We also just recently got a comment letter back from the New York State DOT. Essentially, I just have to correct pay item numbers on the plans, and they're essentially done as well. So we're well between 95 to 100% done almost with the outside agencies at this point. As soon as we're done with the DOT, we would be in a position to come back to this board for, finalizing any minute items that we have, preparing final plans for signature, and moving on with this.
okay, that's fine. We just wanted to get an update on this, because there was a couple things, the DEC and the DOT had some outstanding, business to do, so.
I don't think we're in line for any required extensions or anything, are we? For a conditional site plan?
Do they even, I have to check, did they?
I don't even know that there is anything, so, yeah,
If you want to, if it's up to you to waive the 62-day period,
that we should do, yes,
if you want to do that,
yes.
maybe just write a letter in.
Yep, we could do that,
You don't have to be here on the 25th, and we'll go ahead and we'll
agreed.
vote on that.
Sounds good to me.
So that's the only thing, but if you want to come, you can come.
I won't be here on the 25th, the letter will be good, I think. If it's okay with you, it's okay with me.
All right. Just to waive that 62-day period.
Sounds good. Any other questions or comments from the board?
Okay,
You all have a good night tonight, go Knicks.
you too. Yeah, not that we're moving it along for that, though.
I like the pace with the Knicks.
Take care, have a good night. Anybody here for the 208 Business Center?
Yes.
Your name, sir?
I'm John Dahlgren from Tim Miller Associates,
Okay.
representing the applicant.
Just a quick note, I'm going to recuse myself from this particular application, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, so we asked to make a presentation before the board to kind of bring the board up to date because it's been some time. So we were last here in October of last year when we submitted a draft or revised FEIS, Final Environmental Impact Statement. So since that time, or where we left off, was discussion the board was discussing and the village board was discussing a construction management plan. And that was basically a plan to show how the building and off-site traffic improvements, which are part of the plan, could be constructed simultaneously. And so as you may know, our traffic consultant, Creighton Manning, prepared a construction management plan that kind of laid out a schedule and some details about that. And it was reviewed by the planning board's consultant, Kimley Horn, John Canning, and basically they agreed. There was some minor suggestions, and that was taken up by the village board, I think, in February. And our understanding is that the village board is basically in agreement with that construction management plan, the phasing. And so basically, we have to finalize that, get that before the board, and finalize the FEIS, which that was the last remaining piece of the final environmental
I
impact
guess
statement.
I don't understand why it had to go to the village board. That's a planning board issue. or
It
map.
is
So
a,
what does the village board have to get involved with?
it has to do with financial commitments by the applicant mostly. The village board really doesn't have I don't think, any approval for this piece, but they were interested. And because it's such a impactful project with the village, they were very concerned about the traffic.
Well,
And
was there any resolution done by that board, do you know?
I don't believe there was a formal resolution. And
So
so,
then basically, they need to give us their opinion, and then we would put that in as far as through the ARB engineer as a phasing plan
right,
with the costs.
okay. And,
You know, that should have been done, I think, first here, and then moved to the village board for their approval.
right, well, it was left off with this board where there was some remaining concerns about the construction phasing plan and whether it could work. And so I think there was a lot of discussion with the professionals, you know, this board's traffic consultant, to make sure that he was satisfied that it would work. And also the planning board's attorney about the financial assurances that the construction could be financed, you know, the off-site traffic improvements. That was a big concern. And my understanding is that that language, that the financial commitment and the details of the construction sequencing were the last bits to be agreed upon.
So does our engineer know that?
The,
H2M?
I believe so. I believe they were part of these discussions.
Okay, because they didn't have a representative here tonight. They
Right.
couldn't get somebody here.
Right.
And Natalie emailed me saying that there's also some issues to be addressed from her last comments,
Correct.
and that hasn't been addressed yet. So she's not going to do anything else to submit to us until those comments are addressed. So
Correct.
I just want to let you know that. Excuse me 1 minute, just make sure everybody has their mics.
Yeah, Mike's closer. The mic's Roger was
closer.
saying. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Yeah, so the ball is in our court to, you know, send the board a complete construction management plan and the FEIS addressing
When you
these
say board,
past.
our board here.
Yes,
Okay. the
absolutely.
planning board.
The
Okay.
planning board.
Okay.
And make sure that the board is satisfied, and the board's consultants, Natalie and Kimley Horn, John Canning, that they're satisfied with this material. Your board obviously has the approval over this project,
Right.
and the site plan, construction, and the sequencing.
You know, now, let me just, you know that we have a new mayor and two new trustees.
Okay, I wasn't sure of that.
Yeah, so I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Okay,
I think whatever you have, whenever this comes back, whatever you have, I think we should get it here first, and then we can pass it along to the village board.
right, absolutely.
You know, and let them take a look at it and do whatever they need to do.
Right,
Or converse with us is fine, you know, whatever they think or how they want to handle it.
right.
So with a new, you know, set of people on the village board, I think we're gonna have to go back to them again.
Okay.
So just so you know that.
Okay. So I just wanted to bring you up to speed, and I've got that construction management plan outline if you want to take a look or have any questions about it. But I think that some of the key issues about the sequencing is that first, the applicant has to provide assurance to this board and the village that the work off-site can be done, all the traffic improvements. And then the second big thing is there's no certificate of occupancy. The building can't open until all the construction work is done and DOT has signed off on the off-site improvements. You know, the lights are working, everything is moving, and then the building can open after that. That's, you know, in the management plan.
So I wasn't here during that, so does the board know the phasing plan?
No, I haven't seen anything like that. That was, but they were, the last time they came before us, they were supposed to get it and present it to us. I haven't seen anything, and we're still, you know, we're still wondering whether we want to even use that or not,
Right.
you know, so
Right.
I think it's important that we get to see it.
You know, with regard to traffic and concerns with traffic, it seems to me that there's been a misstep or several missteps along the way, because I'm sure in all the projects that have come before us in the past, we were sure that the traffic considerations have been adequate and they weren't going to measurably impact things and there'd be no adverse impact. But getting onto 208 and getting out there towards Ninja Road is a nightmare anymore. And it's backing up even onto Stage Road. So we're going to have to take a hard look at this. I was quite surprised when Engineer Canning said, yeah, we could probably do this in phases and we could simultaneously undertake construction as well as mitigate the traffic. I think we ought to be maybe a bit more skeptical of the traffic propositions that come before us, because obviously in the past we didn't have enough scrutiny on these matters, I think.
I'm under the impression also that a shovel doesn't go in the ground until that traffic circle there.
That's what they
Like,
promised.
See, that was
That was the original promise is that they don't start the building until the traffic was fixed.
I don't know that Dalton
And we-
agrees with that. I think they've indicated they're open to that, but they've kind of waffled on that. I think our position has always been there would not be a shovel in the ground, except then our own traffic consultant said, well, maybe it is doable. But that's why I think we should be careful about this issue in particular.
So our consultant reviewed the plan, our traffic consultant.
He said it was Canning, Engineer Canning indicated this might work. We might not have to say we can't put a shovel in the ground until that light is reworked. That had always been our position up until that point in time, and that's, I think, one of the issues that we're looking at now.
So I'm not the traffic expert, and I can't represent, but what we are proposing is a phased construction. So let me, could I show you?
Sure.
And I do agree that the traffic consultants, both our consultant Ken Worsted and the board's consultant John Canning, should probably present this issue to the board again to make sure everybody feels comfortable with it.
But I think
Obviously,
we should look at it first,
sure.
because I think the village board would want us to do that, since it's a planning board matter. And then, once this planning board looks at it and has their opinions, if there's anything that has to maybe change,
Yep.
and then it's suitable for everybody here on this board, then we can move it forward to the village board.
Sure.
Yeah.
So basically, this lays out the construction schedule. This green area is the DOT review and approval process. And I guess that's a kind of missing, or something we haven't mentioned, is DOT has to approve this. And so they're going to approve all the off-site improvements where the lights and the traffic flow and lanes and so forth. Here's when DOT approves the project, and this is installation of lights at, let's see, the one entrance, I've got it right here.
Gilbert Street Extension.
The Gilbert Street, because that is the most difficult. and this would allow construction traffic to access it. So this is installation of the Gilbert Street, a light, a temporary light. And then the building construction would start just clearing right here. Yeah. So the Gilbert Street would have to be in place and all the village bonds and paperwork completed before the village issues a building permit. So this work has to be in place before the building permit can be issued. And then you'll see the simultaneous construction of the building and the traffic improvements. This is the ordering of a light for permanent lights at 208 in the project entrance. And then you'll see the off-site construction should be finished here. And the building construction is several months out after this is all completed. So of course the building doesn't get a certificate of occupancy until all the traffic improvements are approved by DOT.
Can you please explain what the green is? Because I thought you said that was going simultaneously with the building, but you just said there all that road work is before any
No,
kind.
this is just the design of and survey for the DOT improvements or the
Oh, that's
offsite.
just the prep work.
This is
That-
all the prep work, yes,
Oh.
no construction.
That's
Construction
DOT,
starts
that's
right here.
DOT responsibility, right?
Yeah, DOT right here. And then this is just kind of a timeline.
Okay.
So really the construction starts here. So I just wanted to lay that out and kind of explain big picture. And obviously the traffic consultants can explain it better.
Right. So do we have updates of everything, or is there any other update? When was the last time it was here anyway?
We were here, here before the board in October
2020?
2025, last fall, yes.
Okay, so there were still some outstanding issues then, I guess, that have to been addressed, that haven't been addressed.
Correct.
Okay.
And we just wanted an opportunity to bring the board up to speed, and we will submit all this additional material. And
I'm just curious, why was there a gap from October to whenever? Because,
9 months.
I spoke to the mayor about this, and he spoke to me about it. That's why you're here.
right,
I says, I really don't know what's been going on with it, so let's look into it, and that's why we asked
right,
for the consultants to come in. So
right.
why, you have any recollection why there's such a wide gap from October to?
I think there was just some working out the details between the attorneys, the applicant's attorney and the planning board attorney and the village attorney about the details for funding of the off-site improvements and some of the traffic details about this management plan. So that's where it was.
So there was no conclusion at all for what you just had mentioned, the funding, there's no conclusion yet?
Well, we have all that information, yes.
Do we have that information?
We haven't presented it.
Oh,
No, we haven't presented it, so,
so I think what we need to do is we need to get all the updated information to the planning board
correct.
and to our consultants. And then we all need to take a look at it and have you come back with our consultants.
Sure,
That's what I think the next step
Yep.
should be.
I agree.
So, and then we can deal with the village board, as far as the phasing plan. Once we take a look at it and this board is satisfied with it, and our consultants, then move that along to the village board.
Sure.
Is everybody in agreement with that?
Right.
Okay.
Okay,
So let's do that.
so we'll be certain to make
Great.
another submittal with, all the information up to date, complete, and then the board can evaluate with their consultants.
Okay, great.
Okay?
All right, thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
I
Thank you.
appreciate you coming. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Next on the agenda, High Street, 236 High Street. Who do we have representing 236 High Street?
Tim Metz, Barack and Youngblood are not here this evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Dave, you want to go over your review,
Sure.
please?
All right. I guess we'll start with seeker status. I had in my list here that the lead agency notices had not gone out yet. I don't know, Terry, if that's correct. I think they were waiting for the plans to be finalized before they went out. I just want to make sure that that's correct. I don't think they've been sent.
No.
Right. I think the board was wanting to make sure that everything was more complete before they did, right? That's what I understood. I just want to make sure that I had that correct. There's a public hearing that will be required as part of the application. And then we'll go down to the comments. Number one, per the provided land use determination form, the applicant currently has 3 open building permits, which are electrical upgrades, decks, and ADA ramp construction, and fire escape construction for the 2nd and 3rd floors. That will need to be closed out prior to issuance of a special permit. Any approval by the planning board should include a condition that any or all open building permits be closed out or otherwise resolved to the satisfaction of the building department. So I don't know if you've made any headway with the building department yet?
The building department has informed me that the chairman has informed him not to process any of the permits that are permitted. I'm just telling you what I'm
Well,
told.
first of all, I never said anything
Well,
like that. So let the record show tonight, please, that the chairman
I
did
have,
not say that to the building.
I have a building permit in because we were gonna replace the fence because a tree fell on it. I put the building permit in. It's an old building permit that dates back to the prior. It was the same as what's on the site, and I was advised they will not process any of the building permits until they hear from the chairman.
No.
I also contacted the police department.
That's
I tried to, I'm just telling you what I'm told.
I'm just telling you,
I
sir, that it's
contacted the
incorrect.
police department, which I've always had a good relationship with. I asked them if we can go over the lighting and stuff, as I agreed to last time. Again, I was told by the police department that I had to go through the planning board, the chairman, in order to get it. Now, I will mark,
Excuse me,
though,
the planning
wait,
board.
let me finish.
Excuse me.
In the letter of review back in April, the engineer did advise and ask that we send the lighting plan to the police department. We're now 2 months later and nothing's been sent.
Let me finish. I spoke to the chief. You went to him and you asked him to look at the lighting plan. He told you everything has to be submitted through the planning board. I spoke to him.
Right, after you, but prior to that, I was speaking to him about evaluating stuff. After you spoke to him, he wouldn't talk to me.
No.
So then we'll resolve it. We'll resolve it real simple.
He spoke to me, sir.
Okay.
Spoke to me after he spoke to you.
Okay, it's a he said, she said. Okay.
No, it's not.
Okay, let's do this, resolve it. Can we please ask the planning board to send those plans immediately tomorrow to him, and I'll move forward for the next visit?
The plans?
Yes, we've had it in your possession for 4 months now,
No, we didn't.
Well, I
since the
think-
beginning.
Well, I think that the question is if the board is satisfied with the layout before they send these to other agencies for review. I think that's the question.
Right.
And maybe we'll have an answer to that question after we review the
And as
comments.
far as putting up a fence, from what we discussed, it's in seeker.
Yes,
And with
I
seeker, you can't- and maybe
yeah.
you want to explain.
I
that
spoke
us
to the,
minutes?
to the building inspector about that, and my
Okay.
understanding is that under the secret regulations,
Make sure you put
that
that on the record, please.
there's not supposed to be any changes to the site made, unless the changes are related to testing or, evaluations that are required by the board as part of their environmental review.
I'm replacing fence that's already there.
So here's the question.
It's in kind.
There's there's a fence that's shown on the site plan that's subject to the review of this board.
No, well, let me explain that. I called Emily back late last year before she left. There's no permits for those, none. 0 in the building department.
So
Why they're there, I don't know.
here's the point, okay? You have a fence shown on the site plan that's under the review of this planning board.
And that's damaged.
Okay, but if you were to go ahead and replace that fence,
Yeah.
and this board, for whatever reason, under its architectural review or whatever other purview they may have, decides that the fence that you put up is not what they want to see, are you going to remove the fence?
It's identical to what's already on the property. There's no removal needed.
Well, all I'm
I only
saying is
told
that-
you as a courtesy that I was gonna remove it because a tree fell on it. It's not my fence. I checked into it, so I can't even really technically move the fence without the neighbor's approval, because what they did, which they're not supposed to do, and you're all aware of, they should have stayed 6 inches off the line or something to identify
Is
it.
there a survey that shows that it's not online?
It sits smack on the line, but between the buildings is the same chain link fence that lines the back of their property that backs up to ours. So they are linked together, they corner together. The one building to the southwest, half of his chain link is on one side of my existing fence that separates me and my side neighbor, and half of it's on my side. So I'm just trying to close it in with what's broken. It's not like I'm trying to do, so a fence is on the survey. If a tree falls down, am I supposed to leave the tree where it is because it's shown on the survey? I need to repair it. I've got some dead trees on there.
Is this the chain link fence or the vinyl fence?
Chain link fence.
Okay, so.
The only reason I'm changing
My understanding is
it,
you were looking for a permit for the vinyl fence.
for the vinyl fence for the back to match the side because the chain link is broken. A fence is a fence.
But I don't think the building inspector then has that information.
I sent him pictures of the damaged fence.
The-
And he said, well, I'm still got to make it under the planning board. I said, but how do I protect my property line? I mean, that's all I'm trying to do. I understand that you have purview over the parking lot. You have purview over the lights. You have purview over the enclosure, some of the things that have to be done. I get that, the drainage, I get that. But to repair a fence,
I don't think it was a repair fence. It was
Yeah,
a replacement.
the impression that I got, it was for the new vinyl fence to be installed along the rear property line.
well, yeah, whether it's a chain link or a vinyl fence, it's the same exact
Well,
fence that's
it-
already on the
it
property.
looks
There's no, it doesn't, no, it doesn't.
The difference between a chain link fence and this is a solid vinyl fence.
But
is
it doesn't look
not?
different than the existing is all I'm saying. With the existing vinyl I have on our sides is exactly what's going there.
It's up to the building department to issue whatever permits they feel
Well,
appropriate.
they felt after they spoke with the planning board, there was no reason to allow me to fix it.
Spoke to me. I
Well,
understand
I'm
you-
just telling you. Well, I'm just telling you the way it came.
I'm telling you,
Well,
I know who I am, and they didn't speak
Well,
to me. They spoke to our.
okay, well, I think it's
So
not
let's
an
make sure you get
big
your facts
issue.
straight before you
Well,
come here.
you know
I'm
what?
blaming the chairman for something that I didn't do.
If you say, okay,
If
but you
I
know.
say so, no, I know so.
I just want to fix the property and keep
And
it
I will.
clean, and I can't. So when the tree falls on one of my cars, because I can't cut the, because there are a few dead trees, you're going to tell me, well, you object
Not
to...
me, not me. This board will tell you, not me.
Okay,
I don't
okay,
say it, it's the board. I'm
Okay.
part of the board.
all right,
And
okay.
this wasn't the board's decision. This came from our
Well-
committee.
And I told the building inspector it was his decision as to whether to issue a permit or not. However, my understanding is if it's part of a site plan, which it is, the fence is shown on the site plan,
I
correct?
gave that to you as a courtesy in the site plan because I knew I was going to replace it. With the exact same thing we spoke about 7 years ago for Rest Haven, when it was going to be a senior. I know you won't. I know you won't. I'm just saying, it's the same exact one. It's the same exact one on the side.
Can we verify what fence is going up? Because you've spoken a bit in circles. You said exact same chain link.
Okay.
Now it's going to match the
No.
vinyl.
No, I didn't say that. No, they injected it. What I'm doing is we had a tree fall on the fencing,
What fencing?
the chain link fencing.
Okay.
But I already been working on putting up and matching the vinyl that's on the side of the house that I have a permit for.
Okay.
Along the backside about a year ago when the thing fell. Problems, I haven't had the money to replace it, but years ago we did put a permit in. But yeah, I was replacing it to match the vinyl on the side as opposed to the chain link. But when I went to Emily, because you did raise it here in this forum, that who owns the chain link, and I didn't know. And I went to Emily and she says, there's no permits for it. So I looked at it and I sent the pictures to the building inspector. You got multiple chain links, meaning from end to end, point to point of the neighbor's properties. And then it goes up towards the front of their
What are you
property.
putting in
Huh?
place of that chain link fence?
A vinyl.
Oh, well,
Solid
that's something
vinyl,
different. You
right?
said you going, you were.
No, solid vinyl.
You said you were replacing exact.
Well, meaning I'm putting a fence back up.
But not a chain
That's
link.
not exact.
You're putting a
You're
vinyl
right,
fence
right.
which has to go.
It's not
through
just a
our-
repair.
That's all I'm saying.
Tim, you haven't been
So it
clear,
has to
is
go through
all I'm
our-
trying to
And I
say.
apologize, I
Okay,
apologize.
I'm
I
just
just
trying
want
to
to get
get
it,
straight.
I apologize, Barbara. I'm just trying to get it cleaned up and take care of the
All
property.
right, but now we know that you are actually replacing a chain link with a vinyl.
Correct, because now it's
Thank
my
you.
fence and it's not the neighbor's
Okay,
fence.
so that hasn't been clear the whole
Okay, I
time.
apologize.
As our engineer said, it can't be done because it's during this
Okay.
process, a secret.
Okay.
Yeah, from our vantage point, the planning board, there's two things. According to secret, there's not supposed to be changes made to the site unless those changes are related to studies or things that need to be done as part of secret. It's part of their environmental review. So for instance, if you needed to put a temporary access drive in so that you could do testing of some kind, well, those are modifications that could be made to the site. No other changes to the site that are associated with the site plan are supposed to be made.
All
You
right.
show that fence on the site plan, and it's my opinion that that's under the review of the planning board, even though if you were just doing the fence, you wouldn't need planning board approval. But the fact is that that's part of a site plan that they're reviewing, okay? And if you were to go ahead and put in the fence, and the planning board decides that they don't like the way the fence looks, it doesn't fit in with any other parts of the site plan they're reviewing, then they would have the purview to tell you to take it down. Do you want that to happen?
Well, I
That's
don't,
the point.
it makes a lot, that's fine. If you have an issue over whether it's chain link or vinyl, you
That's
know,
up to this
you
board.
should know my reputation now about that property.
It's up to the
But,
planning board, what the planning board wants to do.
well, all I'm trying to do is do a little here and there because it doesn't really, in my opinion, but
Part of
okay.
the secret process, so.
Well, apparently there's one way to ask the planning board, but okay. Next.
All right. Okay, number two, we'll read through this. It gets a little bit, a little more complicated. So Village Code does not prescribe a parking rate for the adaptive reuse of National Register historic buildings or for a country inn, and instead authorizes the planning board to determine appropriate parking requirements. The plan proposes 54 parking spaces, inclusive of 3 ADA accessible spaces. A parking calculation for the restaurant has been provided using the ITE parking generation rate of 18.12 parking spaces per 1,000 square feet of gross floor area. The revised parking calculation calculates an area of 2,515 square feet for required parking of 46 spaces for the restaurant. The floor area used includes the bar, indoor dining areas, and sitting room. It does not include the kitchen or office space. Since virtually every sit-down restaurant includes a kitchen and some form of managerial office, it would be appropriate to include the kitchen and the first floor office space as part of the floor area for the restaurant for purposes of parking calculations. Based on the floor areas provided previously, the restaurant would have a total floor area of 3,128 square feet and would require 57 parking spaces. If the applicant believed it appropriate, we would have no objection to excluding the area for the sitting room for the restaurant floor area, lowering the square footage of the restaurant to 2,834 square feet, and lowering the required parking for the restaurant to 52 parking spaces. So I guess one of the questions would be, that you have that sitting room shown.
You know, it's interesting that you raised that, and that's a good balance that you raised that I didn't think about. Under 261.1D4 in the code, and I brought it with me because I think that makes it balance. The code allows for artifacts. Museum, it says museum displaying artifacts and historical items relating to the historical home and or village of Monroe. The planning board may permit other accessory uses, including to and in keeping with the purpose of the country inn, and I believe this in the code does not require allocating of more spots. So I would agree that the sitting room would be relabeled as the museum area or whatever you want to
That's
call
what I
it.
assumed it might have been.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, and we take all the glass cases and everything and put them in the one room outside. I have no problems with
So
the.
there's no tables there? There's
No, it would be, well, the
No dining
bathrooms are
room.
back there, but that's about it. And I was really not gonna put anything back there.
So that's what I had assumed.
Yeah.
And made that suggestion
Yeah.
that,
Could we
again, you should
agree on
include
that?
the kitchen.
Right.
And you should include the managerial office room downstairs.
Well, that's the other issue. There is no managerial office, and that's where the confusion comes in. The third floor is not an office, private office per se, it's the restaurant's office.
There's an office room shown on the floor plan in the first floor.
There is none office on the first floor. No. That's
So
part of
what's
the
adjacent to the
kitchen.
kitchen?
Huh?
On the floor plan,
Yeah, I know. What's his name put that there? And that, my apologies. And the floor plans are being worked on by a floor. But that whole entire area is going to be kitchen. Everything.
So the kitchen gets included.
Meaning the work area for the kitchen, what says the office, that's all going to be kitchen area. Office is on the third floor.
I wasn't accounting for the office on the
Okay.
third floor, because it's my understanding that is ancillary storage related to the restaurant.
It really is.
Okay, so I didn't include that in any
Okay, just so
parking
you know.
calculations, okay?
Yeah.
But the kitchen downstairs is part of a restaurant and should be included in the calculation.
Okay, so here's the reality. Well, I mean, let's come to this, okay? Because also you go to chapter 12, I'm very versed in the
Can I ask
historical
one
stuff.
question?
Yeah.
So then your floor plan is a mistake?
No, when David did it, he labeled it as an office. But, okay, yeah, you can technically say it's a mistake, but it's actually part of the
You
kitchen.
need to correct that.
I can correct that. That's easy enough. But I refer you to section 1205.2 of chapter 12 of historical buildings. In it, it specifically says, and I'm not saying we have to take this into account while we're trying to figure this all out. The allowable floor space for historical buildings undergoing a change of occupancy shall be permitted to exceed by 20% the allowable areas specified in Chapter 5 of the International Building Code. So we're allowed to exceed by 20% of some. What I'm trying to get with you, David, is what is the allowable? Now, if you say to me, for instance, and I looked at your calculations in there, you say to me, oh, like you said, oh, well, if you got 168 seats, you said, I need 106 parking spots. So my question to you is, okay, let's say I agree, okay, we'll make the sitting room a museum, take it out of the equation, as I think we can agree with now. You're saying 52 parking spaces, that's gonna include both the restaurant and it's got to include the rooms, the rentals, the 5 rooms.
Yes,
There's
lodging,
only going to be
yes.
5 lodgings. What's my answer to you? Because I'm only looking for a certain number. My question to you is, where number does that leave me as an occupancy? Because I'm not looking to overwhelm the building, and I'm not looking for somebody to do a whole bunch of calculations, come to you and you say, no, that doesn't work. I mean, I'm willing to work with you, that's why I'm here.
So again, and what this comment goes through, and we'll just talk about it generally here, is the comment basically comes up with 2 different methods of calculating the required number of parking spaces. One is based on square footage and one is based on number of seats.
Right.
Okay. I don't think you're that far off in terms of the square footage. Ultimately is what that comes down to, right? If you
Right.
take out the seating area, basically I came up with 54, was it?
You get 52.
52, okay. Just for the restaurant.
Yeah.
Based on the number of seats, however, ITE, when you use the number of seats, you had shown on your plan, there was some calculations, it was a little hard to decipher, but it seems that you're showing tables and you have 4 seats per table, although they're not shown. I think that's what your calculation is, right? 4 seats per table?
Everything's 4, everything's 4 seats, including high tops.
And you
yes.
had,
I have it here too.
I'm looking for my summary here.
Was the total 118?
106 parking spaces.
I had 168.
168 seats.
Right.
And based on ITE based on parking on the number of seats, it'd be 106 parking spaces, which I think clearly is out of the range of the parking that you're providing.
And I will go with that. So I did reduce my numbers, but my question is, where do we reduce the numbers to? So if I say 168 and 50 of them are standing area only, I'm down at about 120. Does that work into the factor?
It's up to the board to determine what the appropriate level of parking is for what you're proposing.
Mr. Higgins, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Those are 2 very different numbers.
Yes, because I think
How are we supposed to intelligently pick between them?
Well, I think in part because you show on your plan, your floor plan, you show tables. They're just
I just
circled
threw
in.
them in based on what I
Right.
can.
Now, I don't believe they're not drawn to scale.
No.
The floor plan was drawn to scale, but your tables aren't. And the seating arrangements around the tables and the access aisles that you need between seats for servers to
Well,
bring
that's my
food.
point. I would
So
be
I don't
willing-
know that the number of tables that you showed is realistic based
Well,
on.
but that's my point, is that I'm willing to adjust the tables based on the number we back into, based on the parking space. Because then you raised another question later on in your question, is about the flow of overflow to the that neighbor next door, which will actually end up explaining, I'll explain it later. So what I'm saying is, based on the 52, tell me what my occupancy is, I'll go with those number of tables, that's all. It's that simple. If the board accepted, good.
Shouldn't this be drawn out to scale so that we can see the tables and the chairs?
I mean, I think that would be helpful, so that you have an understanding
the
of.
square footage, so you need to get an architect to come in and draw your tables and chairs, and then we can nicely see the spaces between the tables, the aisles, and there's enough of waitress space for people to move around.
The calculation for occupancy is based on the number of 15 for sit-down and 7 for stand-up. And those are what that's the numbers I used.
Do those tables really fit in that space?
But that's the number I used based on the actual. So I took the dining room and I took the 2 dining rooms, added up the square feet and divided it by 15.
Talking about the dining room, are those tables accurately gonna fit in there? Is my question.
No, at this point, some of them have to be removed out. But if you take the calculation and the room says you can only have 50 people, then you know the tables in there can be no more than divide 50 by 4.
But then this board needs to see what your plan is, not our plan.
But
So you have to show us what tables and chairs are gonna be there to fit in that space.
I mean, you have an architect working with you on other aspects of this project, I assume, right?
No. No reason to. We're not touching the inside of the building. I'm just backing into the number of seats per room, and then I'll put that amount of tables that fit equals to that room. That's all. It really helps you too, and it helps me, because I really don't want to change.
It would help this board, and I don't want to speak for the rest of them, it would help me to see that the square footage is X, and the number of tables that fit in X with the chairs is enough room for waitress service, for busboys, you know.
Yeah, at a certain point, this has to be based on the physical reality of the venue.
Thank you.
But
You can't just say, well, there's a calculation somewhere, and I'm going to fit to this abstract calculation. I mean, we need to see real space and time here.
Listen, okay, then I'll spend the money for it. I really am, I don't think it's necessary, but I guess spend more
Well,
money
I think it's the
or
board's
something.
decision here. The board.
Can we agree at least, we'll go with the sitting room being changed to a museum?
I mean, I gave my opinion on it, but ultimately.
Well,
the
I need
decision
to
is
know,
the
so when I
department is up to
respond
the
to
board.
this,
Ask the board. I'm not the board. I'm part of the board, so how does the board feel? I mean, you want to go?
I mean, I know at the last meeting, we did mention, doing a diagram for, listen, when Sandy came to us a year or 2 ago, and they wanted a floor plan, they came with us with an architectural drawing of where the tables, where the chairs, everything was gonna go, you know? It just makes it easier for us to really see it.
Okay.
Now, to your point, I get it, you don't spend any more money on it. Unfortunately, you know, even now that this floor plan's technically wrong, because there is an office on that first floor, but that's gonna be kitchen. So even for your architect, even for the construction guys, don't they have to follow an actual plan at some point?
okay.
You know, and I think that's where we're at. Again,
And for your business, you're gonna need that floor plan for your receptionist, so they know how the tables are set, how many they can fit.
Okay, so are we in agreement? I need to know, are we in agreement as far as the sitting room goes? It's gonna be a museum, it's not gonna be a sitting area. So I can take all my showcases in there. So when I do my calculations, I can at least say to the architect, that's off limits now.
But the kitchen has to be put in.
Well, I'll make the change on the kitchen so you know. Then bringing that and coming back to your number, we're talking about 52 parking spaces are needed for the remaining. Am I correct? Page 1 or page 2, bottom?
You have 54 total, right?
Right,
And you have 6 associated with the lodging, so you've got
that's going to be part of the 52.
40, it'd be 48. Right?
Okay, right.
So you have 54 spaces essentially allocated to the restaurant.
Correct. So what I'm thinking is this, and I'll carry it up. So we're going to go with 52, not 54 parking spaces, correct? That's an answer I need, because that's going to be, if I go to an architect and he says, well, how many parking spaces are you allowing? Well, I don't want to go over a half acre. We've already had that discussion. If I eliminate 2 of the parking spaces, it drops down
You'd
that we're
have-
not so close to a half an acre.
You'd have 46 for the restaurant and 6 for the lodging.
Correct. And as the lodging may be various from time to time.
And that's up to this board to make that decision, if that's enough for parking. So just get that straight.
Well, that's why I'm asking, because the idea is, I'm gonna go to the architect and say, set it up for 46 parkings and 6 rooms upstairs. If
Do you
you,
have a bar?
huh?
Do you have a bar?
It's gonna be a full restaurant.
And you said it
Okay,
was
but
20.
so somebody can
There's a
come in
bar.
and just get a drink.
Correct.
So is that another person you have to figure in into the calculation for cars, for parking spots? If somebody's gonna
Correct.
come to- All right, so you gotta figure that too.
And that's
If you
20
wanna
seats.
balk, if you have 52 parking spaces available and you wanna back in to the tables and the amount of people in there, show us the tables and then we'll say, okay, your parking is good. Show us how you're gonna have the tables and you've allotted for upstairs and you've allotted for the bar and you've allotted for your kitchen. That's all we need. It's,
Okay.
we have unsure information, and if you give us black and white stuff, we can work with that.
Okay.
What we have right now, we can't work with, correct?
Okay, am I basing, and the other thing is, based on the ITA and stuff I searched, they're saying an equivalent to a car is 2 or 3 people per equivalent to car, which is another way of working the occupancy.
I was gonna say ITE shows based on seats and based on on square footage. I'm
Yeah, I
not
saw.
aware of what you're
Yeah.
referring to, but
I did see one on there. Again, it makes it simple.
now you said something earlier about overflow to the neighboring property?
Well, here's the idea, and I don't want to commit anything to anything, but Terry, can you bring up the site plan for the new parking lot? I actually found, if we could work into it with the 52, I think I found a solution that will satisfy this. Nobody knows this property like I do.
Would it be part of this?
Page 2, I think? Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. All of this is 54. If I take these 2 parking spaces out here and turn it this way, I can save this tree here. And I realize, which I didn't know, is that the trench stops here at the end of the parking. I would run it all the way to the driveway and then run using 8x8 beams and stack them so it's more classy to the property. Where when it hits here, when that trench hits this driveway, maybe 6 to 8 inches back, angle it and run it along the driveway, it's never gonna go down. Plus, on top of it, we already have built into the plans a swale behind it. So there's really nothing that would impact the neighbor whatsoever. And I know Dave's more worried about the downpours. In the other end of the coin, when I plow the property, when I plow to the property, I always plow to the back end up here. And the reason I plow up there, because there's a village right away where there's a runoff over here. And that way it runs out from the property. So that's where all my, back there and over here. But once this is done, I can't go here. But what we did is no matter what, we're 15, 15, and 35, which is SR 10. But like you said,
So
there's no bulk.
that's a detention pond back there?
There's one over here, right on the
Okay.
front end of the property. And my side property runs to that detention.
Okay.
And the village has been in there to clean this out several times.
Right.
And
I was saying, while you're there, Tim, would you mind just showing us where the existing chain link is that you want
oh,
to
thank you,
replace?
right here. Oh, I'm sorry, right here. Literally on the property line, but you see where it goes in? Each of these has a chain link going that way towards Chatham. And I checked with Emily, she says they're not mine, because I was gonna go tear it down and redo it. But she says they're not yours, there's no permits for it. And even though it's on the line, for instance, this guy here, this is my side fence right here, it says vinyl fence. This one, his chain link goes from here to here. So there's no way I can replace that chain link fence, so it can't be mine. There's no way it could be mine.
Shouldn't the county map show who put that fence in?
No, I don't think, on a county map?
From a survey?
No permits whatsoever.
No?
No, I,
Put it up, base.
Yeah, it's the way it was done years ago. you know?
Wait, if you put a vinyl there, what are the people who have the chain links that are going into the chain link that's existing? What's gonna happen to their chain links if you put a vinyl?
I have no right to take it down, but I have a right to put something in front of it. So anywhere from 6 to 12 inches in on the property line, we're gonna put the vinyl fence straight across.
But you're making their fences now insecure because it's connecting like this and you're taking this away.
No, we're not touching the fence. We're gonna end up leaving the fence there and just put it in front of it. So,
Oh, so there's gonna be an old chain link and then.
on their side of the fence.
And then new vinyl.
And then new vinyl in front of it, just to keep it clean. Huh?
That's another detail that was left out before.
Yeah, you're saying you're replacing like with like, chain link for vinyl.
Well, when I say like for like-
Chain link down, you're putting vinyl
Yeah,
in.
when I
first.
say like for like, I'm talking about fence for fence.
What-
I didn't think it mattered whether
No,
it was
you're
a
a-
chain link.
That's not true either. You're adding a new fence, which is potentially fine. But again, this was not clear 20 minutes ago when you were arguing with Mr. Higgins and the chairman.
Okay, well, again, I just think a fence is a fence. I didn't think a difference between a chain
Fence
link.
is a fence, and two fences is two fences.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
and-
But you could easily send the enforcement over there and tell them to tear it down too, because there's no permits for it.
No, we're just saying we need you to be a little clear.
No, we can't do that.
We
That's
thought
not
you
our
were
position.
But I'm just saying.
That's not our position
We
here.
thought you were taking down the chain link fence. Am I alone thinking that?
Repairing it.
Yeah,
supposed to be
right. But now
repairing it.
you're not doing anything to it. You're putting a fence in front of it.
Right,
I
I
have
mean,
no idea.
I did approach some neighbors to take theirs down.
No, but what?
But-
That's fine, but what I'm just saying, Tim, is we had no idea that that's what you were doing.
Right.
You didn't say that
I
clearly.
apologize. It's a
Okay.
lot going on in my head, as you
I
can
get
imagine,
it,
with this
But that's
thing.
what I'm just pointing out.
Maybe
You-
too much.
You're getting us going around.
Okay.
We don't mean to give you a hard time. We're just trying to figure out
Okay.
exactly what you're doing.
Okay,
Just go get a permit for a solid vinyl fence, it would look better. I mean, it'd be a nice improvement.
I'm sorry, what's that, Paul?
You just got a permit for just
Well,
running your stuff.
You can't though, it's part of the secret, the process here.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it, although, I mean,
Because what
It's-
you've got
it's the
going
New York
on
State
now.
law that once you have something in front of the planning board, as our engineering consultant explained, once there's an application in front of the planning board for a site plan, that means that you can't do any alterations on that site plan.
So he could have
until-
done that just before he came here.
Correct.
Okay.
I didn't think it was gonna, because we had an old permit that expired, and I put the new permit in, as far as I was concerned, there was no different. It's like there would, some of these permits that are mentioned by Dave expired, but they're renewing them, but they said they're not on hold the same way, because they're not new, they're prior that are renewed, as opposed to new. And I just didn't know the difference, and all I'm trying to do is fix the property up. I mean, that's all.
That's why we're here. We're here to guide you and help you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not to go against
the
We're here to
only.
guide you because we have to go by the seeker law. That's not
Okay.
my law, that's not this
Okay.
board's law, that's New York State law. And we're
Okay.
trying to help you.
Yeah, I just didn't think that was under guidance, but okay. So
So
all
trust
I,
us, we know
Yeah.
what we're kind of talking
Okay.
about, I think.
So-
Fix your plans and give us a seating,
okay,
and I think you'd be in a lot better shape.
okay, all right. So my only question then will be, so Dave, I don't like,
Well,
we
Dave
keep.
has to finish his review.
Yeah, so, and you mentioned the drainage before and the swale.
Yes.
My concern's not just the snow,
No, I'm just saying the snow, but what I'm saying is, if I could bring that up again, please. Can you, that's it, right there. Can you enlarge this area at all? Towards the bottom? Okay. Now, if you tell me, if we can agree, look, 52 spots is fine, of
Well,
course,
we're-
that's good. I'm just saying, I'm
We're not
just
gonna
making
vote.
a point to answer his question about the flow.
If,
What I would do, to answer his question about the flow, I would eliminate these 2 spots, take this runoff and extend it to the driveway, come around this way, and like I said before, run the railroad tie down the driveway, eliminates the overflow, as well as keeping the already projected swell that's mentioned right here in place. That's the answer to the next question. How do I stop the overflow?
and I think we.
Yeah, so the concern is that you're collecting, and there's an increase in runoff, correct? Because we have now additional asphalt, right, in the back. right?
The only runoff you have is between everything from back here up this way and down this way.
Right.
Anything up there is running into here. It's all running into
The
there.
north side goes off to the north, as you said, there's a swale on the north side.
Correct.
But everything that's from the middle of the site down to the south is going to be collected and drained out towards the road.
If they level the parking lot out right, everything up here is gonna run into here. It's not running necessarily down the driveway, it's running into here. So my concern is how much water from here to here we're gonna have. And how do
That's-
we handle it getting down there?
And that's what so the comment basically, let me just read the comment, because I think it'll be clarified. The plan has been modified to include a gravel curtain drain at the edge of the proposed parking lot, as was previously discussed. The proposed swale and berm appear to direct a concentrated discharge in the area of the exiting driveway. We recommend the plans include a catch basin at the end of the proposed swale and berm to collect the concentrated runoff and direct it to the existing drainage system in the roadway. If the applicant does not wish to install a catch basin, then the applicant shall submit a drainage report demonstrating that the flow from the swale and berm will not result in a significant increase in flow over the neighboring property or the existing village street or result in any adverse impact. What we don't want to have happen is either you flood out the neighbor's property or you create a situation where there's excessive runoff or icing occurring at that driveway entrance or exit.
No, I get what you're saying exactly, and that's why I'm proposing that if we're gonna if I'm going to 20, we're gonna agree to 2,800 square feet in change, then I work my plans based on that and tie it back into the parking spaces. I mean, I want some things that are definitive. It's really crazy that I have to come back every month and discuss this stuff. And not saying it's necessarily my own surveyor my own guy screwed up on the SEAF, which really aggravates me. But all I'm trying to get definitive, if we're okay with me using the 2,800 square feet and the 52 parking spaces, then I can rework the runoff to make it up. I just need an answer. I don't want to go him and say, now fix that and do it this way and come back to you and they, oh no, that's not acceptable. At least if I know, I know what boundaries I'm working in. But to keep hiring somebody to redo the survey, which is what we've been doing for 4 months, is getting crazy.
Yeah, but what the board's been, what's been submitted to the board largely is not the result of your professionals. Right? You like that sketch that you provided was hand-drawn by
No, I'm talking
yourself.
about the survey and the runoffs and stuff. And the parking space was based on my professional doing only so much, because as was indicated in the beginning, once you go over a half acre, you've got a lot of problems. And if I'm not gonna have as many spaces or many people in the property because I don't go over the half acre, I don't care. And you gotta remember, this is an old building. We're trying to make something new work in Monroe that hasn't been here, never had it. But with all these back and forths and never being able to sit down with somebody off-board meeting and say, can we do this and does this work?
You do that in front of everybody.
But I'm talking about with you're a professional, so we work it out with you're a professional.
If you want your engineer to meet with Dave, you don't have any problem with that.
Not at all, no.
Not at all. So if you want to get your engineer and your architect to meet with Dave, you can do that. We don't, that's not up to us. That's
Okay, well, listen, that's not the way I understood it before. You know, I'm just telling you. I'm telling you because, you know, it is what it is. I just want to get this thing done.
So do
And we should have been done by now.
Well, no, there's no time limit.
Well, there is a time limit in my book.
Well,
This should have been
For
done.
the planning board,
What's
the planning board takes the time what it needs to
What's the
make
next
this
one?
application happen. So what are we gonna do about the runoff? I guess the question is, if it does run off and you have a surge, it's gonna go into the street. If it's wintertime, it's gonna freeze, we got ice, we got danger.
Well, that's not
the thing.
accurate, because I plow my own driveway.
Okay.
I plow everything from the road up, and salt.
If it rains and it freezes at night, what are you gonna do?
I'm out there salting. That's why I got a salt truck. That's why I have two
There's two
plows.
alternatives here, either
Yes.
show it on the plan.
So again,
or go through
going
a
back to my
calculation.
comment, what I asked for was either have that swale outlet to a catch basin that then drains into the drainage system under the road, okay, which would be a pipe that goes to the pipe that goes down the road, or have your engineer provide a report that says he's looked at the drainage, he's done the calculations, and this is what nominal increase might be created.
Okay.
I think that's fair.
I think it's very fair.
Okay,
Does the board agree with that?
Yes.
The board agrees with that.
okay. But the board doesn't operate the property, remember? I do.
But the board
I pay the money out.
make a decision.
The
on
board
this
doesn't.
property.
I get it.
But we
I
keep
get
your
it.
property
I
safe to
appreciate
other
it.
people.
Right.
Huh?
We keep your property safe to other people.
Well,
Right.
That's our concern. It's not against you, it's, we're
Yeah.
thinking about everybody around you.
Liability.
okay. Well, what, you know what Ronald Reagan has said about that, when the government comes knock and say, we're here to help you. Next one?
We're not the government, we're.
You're government.
We're the entity of the government.
Same difference.
All right, number 4, it is our understanding that the applicant proposes a restaurant that is to be open to the public. Unless one is currently in place, a grease trap should be provided to serve the kitchen sewer line. The applicant has indicated that a grease trap will be installed in accordance with Department of Health rules and regulations. The location of any proposed grease trap shall be shown on the plan and details shall be provided.
That's and I have no problem with that. I've talked about it. In fact, there's a grease trap in the house itself that can be replaced right under the kitchen. That's already there. That's not
So
a
then
problem.
confirm that and note that on the plans, okay?
Okay.
Number 5.
Well, I'm gonna note that in my narrative, not on the plan, because you have no basement plans.
No, you could add a note to the plan that say.
Oh, as
there's
a note
grease
on the
trap
first page
An
one?
internal grease
Okay.
trap is provided or
Gotcha.
will be, and no
Okay.
exterior grease trap
That's
is
fine.
proposed, okay?
That's fine.
At the April 13, 2026 Planning Board meeting, the Planning Board requested the plans be forwarded to the Police Department for review of the security lighting. The plans will need to be sent to the Police Department by the Planning Board if the Planning Board believes them to be ready for Police Department review.
Okay, that's up to the planning board. You think they're good enough?
No, they need to be finalized, don't they?
The plan, no, there's no changes to the light.
Well, you just said you were going to change a couple of the parking spaces, right?
No. If you look at the new survey that came in, there was a question from the board about parking and residents that are staying there going out at night. So we solved that problem.
So the board satisfied or not with the lighting plan to move it forward to the police department?
Let them check it.
Quick review.
Can you show that up part?
How are we gonna get the lighting finalized if we don't even know what the parking is?
It's covering the half-acre land that we're putting new parking in, plus it's all covering all
The
this here.
existing plan, that's what we're gonna go with right now, because we haven't made a decision on parking yet. So with the latest plan, we can send it to the police department.
Well, you're saying we haven't made a decision on number of parkings or anything, but we're not definitely going above a half
Whatever
acre
we're,
in that area.
whatever we're planning board is looking at currently today, it may change tomorrow, I don't know, but what we're looking at today, we can submit that to the police department.
Right.
If things work out differently in the
Then
future.
that may have to be resent.
Exactly.
Can you go to the third page,
So
please?
that's,
Tim, did you hear that?
it's not a fine.
Yes.
That
Yeah, I
if anything
understand that.
changes,
I have-
it has to go to
yeah,
them
I
again.
have a very good relationship with the police department, not a
Okay.
problem. There it is, there. Here's what we did, up here a little bit. Here's what we did. We're allocating all of these spots for handicap and for residents that are staying. From the building over to here, everything, including the 2 light poles, will be on automatic sensors. The building already has lights there that will be put on sensors. So all residents that stay there will be here. This will be all restaurant only. So we're allocating the 2 out for security purposes. So somebody isn't walking out in the middle of the night and going to the back here and they're staying at the restaurant. There'll be in this submission, you'll see further down the signs where it say lodging residents or whatever it was that are going to be put all along here with the handicap. Because you did make a good idea. My only concern is, do I really need to set parking here, or if I'm better off here, because they can easily go in and out the back door of the house. Just saying. Like I said, the police department may or may not be aware that, based on, I think, what Dave had agreed with Sparaco, is there were 2 or 3 light posts here that we had lights on that shine in front of the property, but they go off at dusk. And that way, and that's why I put here and here 2 lantern lights to keep with the detail so it doesn't look commercial on that section, but everything back here and on the side here will be the lights you were talking about. But I mean, listen, I don't mind the police department though, because I got cameras around that property 24/7.
Okay.
So when you raised that question, that was a very good question last time. I know you weren't here, Robert, but that was a very good question, and that's what we ended up doing to answer that question. So the whole back will be lit up with those, I don't know what you call those lights, but they're like flat, low lights or something. I think you have them, Paul, in that thing. So that's what it's gonna be located back there, to keep it nice and clean.
So to answer your question,
Yeah,
we'll move it on to the police department.
okay,
But
thank
if
you.
anything should change, because you're still in transition here. We realize you're
Right.
still in transition.
Well,
So if anything should change, it will have to go to the police department again.
Right, but the good point with the police department looking now, they may have new ideas that I'm not thinking about, that even if things change, you may say this,
Well,
that.
that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna
Yeah.
tell the planning board.
Yeah.
They'll come back with a submission to us saying, we wanna see this, and this.
Right,
Okay.
right, and I see no problem in
Okay,
that.
so
So now let me bring up, you brought up the signs over there. So on your detail, is that the reserved parking, lodging, guests parking only? You're gonna put those signs up there?
Can you bring it up? I don't remember, to be honest with you. Reserve? Yeah, right there.
Okay. And on the handicap, you have them on the ground, the handicap, if you wanna go up, right there, right there.
right there,
handicap.
yeah, you showed.
Right, and then those will be right next to.
Okay.
And there's also one by the building as
So those handicap spots will have the signs above the ground.
Correct,
Okay, I just wanted to be sure.
correct.
Thank you.
Distinguishing.
Thank you.
So then the board's gonna send the application to the police department, and then also I would send the lead agency notification out. I would recommend that be done to the County Department of Planning at the same time.
So we need to declare lead agency. I don't think we did we?
No, and you.
No, you
you'll
never
do that
did.
at the formal meeting, right?
Right, we'd have to do that, right. Okay, so we'll have to go with lead
I mean,
agency.
and there's no dispute, you are the lead agency in this, you know. Even SHPO does not get involved in this.
All right, so the drainage will continue down. The drainage we talked about, number 7, talks about the requirements for a performance bond to be filed.
Yep.
You would need to provide a construction cost estimate.
I did already, about 2 months and a half ago.
We have a construction, oh, well, I'll have to look at the file for that.
Did we get, do we have that?
It's right around April.
Here it is.
All right, well,
You have it?
Was, cost to finish project relating to application for site plan, prepared by Timothy Mitz.
Yeah, what's
April
the-
30th,
Yeah, what's the total?
110,000.
That's right.
So,
It does not include the
It's
fence, by the
itemized?
way.
Is it itemized?
Huh? Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
I have to take a look at it then.
I knew you would ask that question.
Okay,
it's called 236 High Street, LC cost. And it was submitted in May.
April.
Well, the date is April, but
Okay.
we put it up on the line. It's
Okay.
in the previous folder under the OneDrive. There it is.
yeah, so, and again, your professional would, I'm sure know this, but what they're gonna be required to do is provide an itemized, in other words, square yardage of asphalt, you know,
Everything you see there,
landscaping,
yeah, no.
per
everything you-
tree,
Right.
cost per tree, et
Right.
cetera.
Everything you see there is based on the quote that I got. And I can provide you with a copy
I'll
of the quote.
provide you with, there's essentially a form where you can fill it in, and we basically count the number of trees, count the number of light poles, the square yardage of the asphalt, et cetera.
Okay, well, all I have is where it says blacktop, the guy said $65,000, and he breaks it out. So, that's all I can give you is what they give me.
All right, we'll
I
go
wasn't
through
gonna
that with you,
estimate it
okay?
myself. Not a problem.
Okay. The code requires special use permit applications for the adaptive reuse of National Register of Historic Buildings to be forwarded to the New York State Historic Preservation Office for review and comment. The code authorizes the planning board in its discretion to retain a qualified historian to assist in the review of any application. The applicant previously provided an email letter from SHPO dated March 9th, 2026, indicating they previously issued approvals for the ADA upgrades, the fire escape, and the commercial hood for the kitchen. I've spoken with Sarah McIver of SHPO, who indicated that plans for the project have been accepted by their office. It was agreed during that call that prior to making a secret finding, the planning board will send a written request to SHPO asking for confirmation of the acceptability of the revised plan. And again, that's because SHPO wasn't reviewing the parking improvements, the lighting,
Which they
those
don't.
parts of the project.
Yeah, they don't review any of that. They review the building
So
only.
did this board send that plan or not?
Not yet, no.
I did.
Yeah, but this board needs to send.
This was before this letter was written. I sent it to them. That's how she knew about it on March
Well,
9th.
Basically, what Dave is saying, we're gonna need a final plan to send to SHPO's.
Right.
So we need that plan and we'll send it out to SHPO.
Correct, right. And again, it's to make sure that, for instance, the
Right.
lighting fixtures are consistent with the historic nature of the building,
Right.
those types of things.
Yeah, they'll tell you they don't care. But, okay.
Okay, number 9, the applicant has provided sanitary sewage flow calculations prepared by Teed Engineering, showing an anticipated sewage flow of 3,996 gallons per day. The applicant has also provided the property's previous water consumption per quarter for the past 19 quarters. The most recent quarter, which was quarter 1 of 2026, had a consumption of 7,397 gallons, or 82 gallons per day. The highest quarter provided was 2021 quarter 3, with a consumption of 45,106 gallons, or 501 gallons per day. Approval from Orange County Sewer District Number 1 will be required for increased sewer flows.
Yeah, I spoke with them. All I need is the occupancy level, and then I can submit the application to them. But according to Mr. Teed, he says there's no changes that need to be made on the existing. But that's why we're back to the occupancy number, because it seems to be
Well, number of
everything.
seats is going to drive essentially your anticipated water and sewer use.
Yes.
Number 10, although the building department previously made a determination that a sprinkler system would be required throughout the building, the applicant has indicated that they do not intend to install said sprinkler system and will attempt to have the requirement waived by way of providing the building department with a performance compliance method score sheet in accordance with Chapter 13 of the New York State Existing Building Code. If it is ultimately determined that a sprinkler system is required, and if any modifications to the water service exterior to the building are needed, they will need to be shown on the plan.
And as soon as those plans are done, it'll be submitted, but I guess there's a problem now with that condition. You have no building inspector.
We do.
No, you don't. That can approve that plan? That's knowledgeable on
I
that?
don't know what he can approve, but we have a building
Okay.
inspector. His name is Brian.
Okay, all right. I did not know Brian as being now the new building inspector. But,
Give him a call and talk to him.
okay, I appreciate that. I will definitely do that. That's fine.
Number 11, the plans were referred to the chief of the Monroe Joint Fire District, who provided a letter indicating that the plans were acceptable and that there were no issues maneuvering in the parking area around the building. And again, this was previously reviewed. Number 12, the previously submitted narrative indicated that the existing well is within a concrete tank that is roughly 19 feet deep and 3 feet round with tile walls, and that it is to be used solely for irrigation. As stated in the provided correspondence from the Orange County Department of Health, the health department does not permit any interconnection between an individual irrigation well with the potable water system. As noted on the plans, the on-site well is only to be used for irrigation purposes, and any connection to the potable water system will require approval from the Orange County Department of Health.
Well, there is where, I guess you missed on your notes. I provided you with an email from them already at the last meeting, and they have no involvement in this thing whatsoever, even for irrigation. They
Yeah,
don't get involved.
Any
I remember you
connection,
did.
if you read the note, Tim, any connection to the potable water system will require approval from the Orange County Department of Health.
Again, there is none, and
Then-
what
then
they
you don't
did
have to
tell
worry
me,
about it.
right, but what they did tell me is that you do have the jurisdiction to come inside the house to make sure it's not hooked up to portable, which is fine. But I just want to make sure that email was back on the record again, that
We have
they
that
said
email.
on number 12, they don't get involved,
But I
but,
think what Dave is saying, it should be maybe put a cap on it, so, for safety. Is that,
there is a cap on it.
it's not a stone, but there's a regular cap.
It's a heavy 200-pound stone on top of it, which is part of, again, the historical, but what I can do with that is I can build a wall around it too.
whatever, but.
So what the health department said was, if it's just used for irrigation,
They
they
don't
have
have
no
well.
issue with it.
Correct.
But it cannot be connected in any way to any part of the water system in the building.
Absolutely.
That's all that
and
comment
it's not.
says.
Okay, well, I wanted to make sure the email was
We have email.
referenced.
Yes.
That's all.
Number 13, the proposed restaurant is subject to a food service establishment permit from the Orange County Department of Health. Again, that's just informational.
Yeah.
Number 14, regarding the submitted short EAF form, and again, they had it correct last month, but then they resubmitted it now with some mistakes on it. Question 12A and 12B have been answered no. This is inconsistent with the AF mapper summary report and is incorrect. B, question 15 has indicated the presence of timber rattlesnakes in the vicinity of the project site. Again, this is inconsistent with the AF mapper, which says it's
We both
northern
agree on.
long-eared bats.
Yeah.
And as advised by the planning board attorney Cassidy, this should be considered an unlisted action. And number 15, the plan proposes a 6-foot-high vinyl fence along the rear property line. We recommend that the applicant provide a rendering or photo image of the decorative fence for the board's review.
When that's part of the recent submission, along with, I thought I sent the picture of the actual fence, which is the same fence that's there that was put up 10 years ago. Exact same fence.
On the side, you mean?
Huh? On the side.
The vinyls.
On one side. Now, we only did the left side. But looking at the property, we did the left. The right side was previously here, that's the cul-de-sac.
So I know there's a detail for that on the plan.
On the plan, yeah.
But it's in black and white, and the board doesn't know what color it is or what it ultimately
I sent,
looks like.
that's why I'm asking, because I believe I sent you a photo of
plan.
it, and
It's
tell
on-
me if I'm wrong.
It's on the detail for the plan.
But when we also need the manufacturer, the lot number.
It's the flyer from Biltwell. It's the flyer from Biltwell saying this is what it is. The the building department also has the application for it with everything attached as well.
Can I ask you something about your irrigation? How do you tap into your well to irrigate?
What they do is they dig down so far, because they gotta be below. No, primarily 2 or 3 feet, because it's only used, you're talking about the well,
You
using
don't
the
have a
well.
tap, you don't have a tap outside of you don't have a tap to that well anywhere above ground?
No, it's an old, well, I
just wanted to
pictures
make
of where it had the pump.
Yeah, oh,
That's what it was.
Yeah,
It was
okay.
the old pump, and it had
All right.
a house on top of it.
So it's not connected to the house at
Nope.
all anymore?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
I just wanted to
No.
make sure.
It was eliminated in the 60s, I believe. And I hate to say this, but even John Carl worked on the valve at the road. So no, it's not tapped. I wouldn't have a water bill if I was tapped.
All right, I just wanted to make
You
sure.
know,
everything's
yeah,
been totally
yeah.
removed from
No,
the
no,
well.
I agree with that. I totally agree with that. So you don't have that, huh? I thought I sent it, but I can do it on it's just, Biltwell gave me a picture of what it was along with the bill and said, this is what we're doing. How detailed he goes, I don't know, but it's the same one that he gave me 10 years ago for the property. So everything, I'm not multicolored guy.
So
When it comes-
you should be able to take a picture of the fence that you have installed already.
I can do, yeah, I can do that.
Because that'll give you the color,
Yes.
right? And the
I
material.
can do that. I can do that just as well. That's not a problem. And I'll send you the flyer that he sent me too. But it's going to be, obviously the dye is going to be slightly different because they came off of 2 different production lines. So if there's a shade difference and one's much older than the other, I'll send that in.
The style is the same though.
Huh?
The style is the same.
Style's exactly the same. Because that way they can also connect to each other readily easier than trying to do the other way.
And then the last comment I had was just, again, public hearing is required for the special use permit.
Okay. The board have anything else right now?
No, that's plenty, I think.
Okay, I have a couple things. Number one, so now with the restaurant, how is your deliveries gonna work? So you're gonna have trucks come in there, gonna be maybe semi-tractor trailers. So they're gonna have to come in, or, come around. Where's the loading and unloading gonna be?
The purpose of the way the road goes, if Terry wants to bring it up, but the way it goes is you come in, you go under the carport, and you come around normal cars and trucks. This is the way in, this is the way out, and they turn in here, turn around, come back out. The way the board agreed on it the last time is trucks and all delivery services, emergency vehicles came in this way and turned around and came out. There's an 8,000 square foot turnaround. So that's what I know. Trucks that come in can also come here, come out and go back out this way. Or here, come back out this way, because they're always off hours, and they're not on hours.
So that, it's a two-way road there.
The,
Two-way drive?
the new section is two-way. The original is one way in and one way out.
Right.
It's just a new section, because they wanted the ability that people will be able to turn around if they want to go back and see a spot open.
So you're gonna unload into your building down in the basement?
They're gonna be unloading into here, and the ramp is there, the ADA ramp, so they're gonna be using the ADA ramp to load into the building. If it's on the kitchen level, if it's something that's going into the box, which is gonna be in the basement, then they'd be going down the stairs.
Okay.
Into the box.
Okay.
Why can't they just drive in the one way up top, just through?
The
carport height is only 9 feet.
Gotcha, okay.
And I don't really want to go around and do it. As you can see, Paul, I'm trying to touch as little as possible. And there's another reason why, I failed to tell you, but another thing is, a lot of you know I've had a lot of events at this house. So I also have a knowledge of the ability to park, where to park. The new parking that we're adding, what was always used as parking when we did events when they were approved by the town. The first time, the first time I did it, I got into a lot of trouble. We had 500 people there parking the roads. I learned my lesson. Ever since we had events there for Santa and things like that, we used that area to run 300 people through. Now, granted, it was only a one-day event and there wasn't food being offered. There was one room, we had about 4 round tables, 6-person tables to sit so kids can write Santa out, given that. But I have a good idea what will be managed in the building just based on my own gut feeling. But
Now,
that's,
your one driveway is one way though, and the other one's two?
The new section is two-way.
But in
It's
the other one,
isolated in itself.
and the other one's gonna be one way?
Coming this way, you go in here, you come back. You either go down here or you go down here to go out.
But there's no exit on the top driveway?
No, there's no exit this way.
Okay. You have to have that could be very confusing. You
Well, I have
that
the
very
enter
clearly.
signs there already. There are signs there that say no, do not enter. Okay. But you might be right where I may end up putting more like right up here.
Right.
As opposed to by the carport. Because once they're by the carport, they're like, holy shit, I'll keep going.
So the one on the bottom is a two-way in and out.
This
Ingress
one,
and egress.
Yeah.
yeah, for emergency vehicles and the delivery trucks, this is the way the fire department has always come in.
Not for customers though.
Not for customers.
Okay.
Cars and trucks come in this way, only emergency, that was something we discussed at length last time about what's the best way to get in and out. I actually think this actual setup works better, because if the fire trucks have to come in, they actually can get multiple points, access to the buildings from the front, side, and back. They can literally get now 2 trucks in there with no problem. And there's only 3 trees that sit behind, these are the 4 main trees that sit there.
Right.
And then that's it. So it gives them a lot of flexibility to get in and out to the property. But, yeah, I mean, like I said to you in the very beginning, and I know, Gary, you weren't here, I am trying to keep it identical almost to what it was when it got approved the first time. I'm not looking, and I am a little concerned about the rough and tough on the house. So we start, let's say just argumentatively, 150 people, see how it goes. It may not work. Maybe it'll be a rush at first, and then after people won't care. But I don't want to overbuild, because if I overbuild with some of the ideas that were suggested to me, they're talking about me taking out the front yard to get 300 people in there. I'm not doing, that's why I came to you.
So that's my next question. You're talking about events, weddings. How big of a wedding are you gonna have?
Well, that's going to be dictated by your occupancy.
You have no off-street parking.
Correct.
So what I think the board may feel is that, you know, what size events are you gonna have? How many people are gonna be going there?
Once you decide your tables, and we decide, you figure out the occupancy, you're gonna be married to that.
That's my point.
You know, you're not gonna be able to get more people in for a special event than your restaurant.
And my answer to you from day one was, I'm gonna marry to actually a lower number, see where it goes. If it's a problem, I'm coming back to you and saying, this is what I wanna do, and we then process it first before I increase the number. So we all know, so you can also say, okay, this has gone on, or that's gone on, you know?
I don't think, be careful, the police department, you know, like we had when you had that first event with the prom pictures.
And again, what
The
happened there?
police department wants to avoid.
Yeah, and I agree with you. But the problem back then was, to my defense, we had just bought the property. Somebody says to me, why don't you open up for prom night? I said, sure. Little did I know the network the kids had. And next thing I know, I had 5 people, the streets were now blocked. I learned from that, but if you look at everything I've done since, with the Santa landings up until 3 years ago, and the Santa Claus, and we had the synagogue there every year for the high holidays, we haven't had these problems anymore. I've been able to know I know where my gut is, and that's why, like I'm saying, I mean, I would love to have 250, but I'm not willing to tear up the whole front yard just to have a number.
Yeah.
If I can have 52 spots and I've got 150 people between sit down and standing, I'm comfortable with that. I'm not having an issue with that.
And this way you don't, it won't intermingle with a wedding going on and a restaurant open.
Well, we
So the
couldn't
restaurant
have,
could be closed.
right. It would have to be closed to private, of course, well, being stupid for a minute, I'll be stupid for a minute. If it's a birthday party for 20 people, I just reserve the seats, no big deal. Right, if they say I want to rent the place out for 100 people, we're shutting down. I mean, that's the reality of it. Because we've even done carving tables there on October 1st, 2018, when we did the ribbon cutting. We cleared everything out of the building and put carving tables around the building. I can now have 250 in there because it's all mainly walking, no high tops or anything, just walking around and stuff. But I don't see that. But I'm just saying, I don't see that now because we're now...
Take your tables out, you can't have more than that, what your table's there, you could see.
Right, but my point is I'm asking you, where can we come to a median number that works for both of us so I can work with that number?
Well, you got your 52 parking spaces, you'll figure it out from there. If that's what you're gonna do, if you're gonna go from 54 to 52,
Well,
and come to us, and then
yeah.
we'll tell you what you're...
Well, and I'm going to speak with the surveyor to the engineer on it, because the big problem, and I didn't know this, like I just said before, I thought that trench went all the way to the driveway. I never really, that was on the side, it's 12 inches, whatever. I thought that went all the way. I didn't realize it only went to the end of the side of the parking lot. I would rather bring that all the way out and then run a railroad tie down, and that's going to run everything off. If there's a problem, then I got to do the next step. I mean, issues happen. I get it. I have no problems with that at all.
Don't you have to hook that up to drainage in the road? I mean, you can't just drain it into the road, you have to go underneath and hook it into the...
Well, he was saying I had options. I had options.
You need some kind of catch basin or something, it's not all traveling on top of the ground.
Well, that was the way I was going to leave it, along with the trench, which is supposed to eat up some of the water as well, from the drainage, correct?
But that's why we're asking for the study.
Right.
Right. He does a study, a drainage study,
Right.
or he goes into the highway department, gets a permit, and puts a swale, a pipe underneath the ground with a catch basin there to tie into the main.
Right, yeah, that,
Those are the two alternatives.
okay.
Right, well, that's what I'll talk to them about.
Yeah, figure out whether you want to pay for an engineer or open up the road.
Either way, it's gonna
That's what you gotta figure out
Yeah.
what you want to pay for.
Yeah, well, either way, it's going to cost me, because even if I open the road, I got to pay an engineer.
There you
Well,
go.
that's the price of doing business.
Not in this town.
Well,
Any other questions?
well, the other thing, what about a traffic study? How does the board feel about doing a traffic study now that we're coming up to this situation where we know we have a layout of parking? we have all the information that we can gather. Of course, we have to open up a public hearing. So what about a traffic study to be done? Because this is gonna
That's what
impact
we
the
do, just
neighborhood.
about everything, yeah, when it changes the occupancy and stuff
So
like that.
does the board want to have a traffic study done?
I would think that's a good
Do
idea.
we need some for some of this size? I don't know.
It has nothing to do with the size, it has to do with the business.
Well,
And it's a change to the neighborhood.
well, just so you know, when I spoke to Chief Guzman,
No, I talked.
2 times before, I asked him to put up a sign there that would monitor the traffic so we can get a traffic study already. I gotta remember, huh?
He wouldn't do it, he said.
He said he would he sent me an email telling me he would do it, but someone would be in touch, so I figured everything was just on hold at the moment.
From what he told me, he told you to go to the planning board and let the planning board decide that.
Okay, so, yeah, okay, but just so you know, just so you know.
Not a liar.
Well, just so you know,
Okay.
on Fridays and Saturdays, there's no traffic on that road. It's the height of the business is Friday and Saturday too.
Traffic study would be something that will pick that out, especially during the school year when the buses are out there. There's a lot more buses on the road now,
Yeah.
you know, than we had in the past. So if the board wants to have a traffic study done.
Oh, yeah, I get it. Well, if everyone else is in agreement, yeah.
Yeah.
we'll go with it.
Okay, so we'll have to have a traffic study done.
And who do you want to do the traffic study?
You have to have somebody do your traffic study, and we'll have our consultant review it,
Okay.
so. Now, we don't want it done in July or August, we want it done during the school year, I think,
Right.
because we made the queue do a traffic study after
Exactly.
everything they've been through, and we told
A
them.
new one, right, because the traffic has
We want a
changed
new
so
one
much.
from 5 years ago before we go ahead and approve the plan. But we don't want it done in July and August, because we've had things in the past done in July and August, and it doesn't
It
work.
wasn't a true study, yeah.
That was during COVID too, I think, at the site.
Exactly, that one was done during COVID, which was
No,
worse,
yeah.
right?
So you're telling me to wait till September to do this?
I'm not telling you anything, I'm
Well,
just
that's
saying
what you're
the board-
suggesting.
The board's suggesting to do it during the school year.
Okay.
It's still the school year.
Yeah, depending how fast they, okay.
What's it gonna cost?
Huh?
You know what this cost?
What are you worried about the cost?
Well,
You worried about cost over safety, or what, you know?
hold on, I must register a slight protest there, Mr. Chairman, you know. There's a trade-off in everything, and Judge Bork used to even say, we like to think that safety is paramount in our society, but it's actually not, because if it were, the interstate highways would be 20, 30 miles an hour. We don't do that. We trade off everywhere. And if, with all respect to Mr. Mitz, I think he's kind of danced around a couple things here, and he's been less clear than he could be. But if he's opening a modest restaurant here of, 100 people or so, and it's going to be an onerous study, that is a concern of mine, yes.
It's a restaurant in a neighborhood,
It's a restaurant in a neighborhood, that's right. Yeah, it is.
okay?
I agree.
Restaurant in a neighborhood, keep that in mind. Right now,
I'm
there's
keeping that in
nothing
mind.
there. There's no restaurant there, it's all residential.
Well, the amount of trucks that go through there for ShopRite
And
are
buses,
astronomical.
well, because they're not allowed to go on Gilbert Street, they have to come up on High Street.
To make a right on Gilbert Street.
Right.
I'm just saying, that so they're already there clogging those
Okay,
roads.
If the board doesn't want to do it, that's up to you. But,
Would you mind?
Chief's, I think the chief is in favor of it, wants it done. So, because he told me that you asked him to do the traffic study for you.
What I asked him for is if he had any traffic reports on that property, and he said none, on that road. Now, he said, but he could put a sign up that radars that collects that data for me.
He said to me that you came to him and you wanted him to do a traffic study, and he says, we don't do traffic studies for certain things like that. only for other situations, you need to go to the planning board. That's what he told me.
Okay.
Now, I have his number here, I'll call him if you want to talk to him.
Well, I think I can
He
have,
told me,
yeah.
besides the lighting plan, he wouldn't accept the lighting plan because he says that has to go through the planning process, not through him. The planning board will submit the plans to him. So that's why I'm bringing up to the board. And I think the mayor kind of, said something about it too, about a traffic study. So that's why I'm bringing it up to the board tonight. So, not Gary's idea.
Well, listen, I'll reach out and see what it cost.
It's up to the board. You don't want to do it, then don't do it. I mean, that's your prerogative. This board has that flexibility to get a traffic study or not. So it's up to you.
How about I don't know if I'm going to get anybody to do any traffic study between now and the end of the month, which is going to push me off to September. Now, if I'm correct, that will push everything off with you to go into your board until September,
Keep on going and get things done.
while we're waiting on that. Okay, what I will do is this.
Let me just give you an example. We had an applicant that was in front of us that came in April and had the plan, and had the traffic study done in May. So I guess it didn't take that long.
Well, it's your end of school year, remember. And as you posed, which I get what you're saying, the timing,
Right.
that becomes a problem, possibly. What I will do is this, is I will call around in the next day or two, see what my pricing is. I'll at least email Terry and say, this is the pricing. Listen, if it ends up being $5,000, I'm not gonna argue it. If they say they want $50,000, we gotta talk. Because there's a point of no return. And it's not that I care about doing it or not doing it, because I think if you look at the building and my history, that I always take a care to the building and everything around it. We've never had an event with an incident that ever happened there. So I'm very high regarded about that, making sure it's taken care of. And just so you understand, I'm the guy that protects the building, sort of the curator of the building. I make the work. I'm not the one that's gonna be running the business, but I'm gonna make sure my reputation of that building stays. And I guess that's the best way to bring it to a close on that issue, is I'll check out and see. As if they say 5,000, I'm not gonna argue. There's no argument. If they say 50,000, then I gotta sit and say, wait, hold on, I'm not on 17M, or something like that.
I think the board understands that, but again, this is not just coming from the board. This is coming from outside the board too. So,
Well,
I just wanted you to know that.
well,
It
everything.
wasn't the chairman that did this.
Yeah, well, I believe there are some people in this community
Believe what you
who
say.
definitely wants to see me stopped.
I don't think
So,
anybody on this board wants to see you
well,
stop.
oh, no,
Let's make that clear.
these guys have been great.
We're not here against you. We are with you.
Okay,
And we are with every applicant, as you've seen tonight, that came in front of us.
Okay.
We work together, hand in hand.
okay,
And that's what we do.
okay,
It's our job to do that.
Okay.
So just get that straight. We're not against you.
Okay.
And we're not for or against any project here. We're going by the law, seeker and the village code, and what the planning board does.
Okay.
So,
Mr. Higgins, you have an opinion on this?
On which part?
On a traffic study and the necessity thereof?
I mean, certainly the board has the right to require what they want. The only thing I would think is, with regards to the traffic is, I mean, if it's a restaurant, the hours of operation, and if the school buses would generally be gone and off the roads by the time the restaurant is busy. That's the only part that I would think. I mean, again, I don't know what
Yeah,
your hours
yeah.
of operation
Well,
are gonna be and whether you're gonna have
well, initially.
events during the
yeah.
school
Yeah.
hours, but.
Right, but initially, when you open a new restaurant, you may be closed Monday, Tuesday, you open before, you stay open to 9, 10 o'clock, and that's it. It's until you get really established, because you don't have a lunch crowd.
Are you
And,
gonna be open for lunch?
huh?
Are you gonna be open for lunch?
When you first open up, you typically don't open up a restaurant for lunch at that point, because you're new.
What are you planning to be
Would
open?
be over time, maybe over a year or so, it would expand there, but the kids aren't around. you know, the,
Lunchtime there,
But
yeah.
there's a lot of traffic on the road now.
Yeah, and there's a lot of school buses.
Right, and
Yeah,
the school
'cause
buses come through on Sundays,
Yes,
yeah.
and they come late in the day.
yes.
I see them out my window when I sit,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
I see what comes and goes. I have a good idea.
Yeah,
The-
so
the
that's,
whole community
that's the
Yeah.
concern, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I get the
And
concern.
it's only gonna get busier around there too, so that's another reason for the traffic study, is just to see. And again, we just wanna keep everybody safe.
And I get that. I get that too, and I've done that inside that house, and I still get a fight over it. You know, it's, you do what you can, everything I can do. We've spent millions in that house, and we still get fights to this day. And it's a problem when you try to put your heart into it, you know?
Well, we'd like to see that come to fruition.
And I appreciate it. What is the return date, submission date for the next meeting?
25th?
Well, the next meeting is the 25th of June, that's the regular meeting, but the submission
Submission is 25th
for the July,
workshop.
right,
26, 25 for July?
25th.
Right, 6/25 for July, okay. Okay.
Is
What's-
this going to be on for the formal meeting? Because we talked about
Oh, yeah,
referral
we
to
have
the
to- we have
police
to do-
department and lead agency for
Yes.
the Department of Planning, or,
Yes. Neg deck, we have
Yeah.
to do neg deck and lead agency
Yeah.
and authorize to send the plans to the police department.
Okay.
And if we want to do a public hearing soon, that's my next question. I don't want to keep everybody here, but do we want to do the public hearing now, or you want to put it
I
off?
don't think we have anything sure enough yet to.
Okay,
Right, yeah, I need to.
I agree with Barbara.
yeah. Okay,
And what day in July is the next workshop? Because obviously I don't have my surveyor here.
7th or 14th, is it? I'll be the 14th.
July 13th.
13th, yeah.
July 13th. Okay.
13th.
And even if you went to public hearing, it's going to take two meetings, right? Two board meetings, one initiating the public hearing and then the second one being the public hearing. Anyway, so,
And again, that's the process, that's not,
no, I've been through that. I've been through that before.
so it's not the chairman that's putting this up there, this is
Oh.
the process.
Gary, all I want is access to the people that are working on this so I can work everything out. I know, but I'm saying like the building department. Now, when you get this to the police department, I can talk with Chief Guzman. He'll probably assign someone to it, and that's fine. But at least I know what I'm doing when I'm making decisions too. Instead of coming back next month like we've had problems with the SEAFs, they've been incorrect each month, 4 times, and it was on my guy. But it's aggravating. But that's all I'm trying to do. I want to feel like I'm moving forward, not like I've got something sticking in my back. I appreciate everything tonight, and I think I will talk to, I do,
The board's here to help you, not against you.
well,
We'll do anything we can to make sure that we get you going.
as long as these people know that they can work with me outside of you to come back and say, you know what, Tim has these permits, he knows. Like, I do know the permits before, I was told that's not an issue. The permits after the filing is an
There's
issue.
no reason why you can't go upstairs to the building department and talk to the building.
I already spoke with them, and they said they can't even issue the fence permit, which is something I also wanted out of the way, so when we start doing the work, nobody's, look, no neighbor.
It's all a matter of time, and that's all that is right now.
Right.
That's all that is. I just hope you have a nice sauerbraten, that's all.
A what?
A nice sauerbraten.
I'll have to talk to Max Wessel,
Okay?
if you know who he is.
I don't know, but I'll trust you.
You might know who he is.
Wessel sounds like he'd have a good job.
Okay, does the board have anything else?
No?
We're good up to this point? Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You're welcome.
Have a good night. I want to make a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Second. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
I got a question for